Up next, Lisa Kuzella.
You know, I don't even know what I'm going to talk about. That's why I don't put anything, because at the end of the meeting, you know, I might hear something then that I want to talk about at the end. And it did happen. And you guys get battered a lot, I understand. But I just want to give you kudos on how you handled that situation. And this officer, oh my gosh, how patient and kind he was. So I just want to say that. But I do have a question if any one of you went out to talk to her. It's a rhetorical question, but it's something that I'm interested in because you're our leadership. Did anybody go out and talk with her to help her, guide her to where she needs to be? So today is Child Abuse Prevention Month, or the proclamation was made. And our town has a problem with child abuse. And I don't see anything being done about it. I don't even see the Gazette covering these men that are getting arrested. This man that was the husband of some woman that worked at Shuttleworth in Ingersoll, who has a degree in religious studies, getting arrested. This is a felon for what he did to children. And it's not even being covered because of the connections. It depends on who you're connected to. I just also want to say, this council, each one of you, I see as respectful persons. In the past, there was a council where several of them who I helped get elected were very rude and inappropriate and mistreated the heck out of me. And I just want to say, I know each one of you, except Tiffany, and you're respectful. And I want to thank you for that. Even when we do disagree on politics, on what should be done with our town, I do wish you'd listen more to the citizens. We elected you. I don't know who's running this town. I really don't. I've met with Jeff Pomerantz many times, and you've always passed it on to the staff. I don't know why you're being elected, because they're doing whatever they want, and you're rubber stamping it. So I don't know what's going on in this town. Who do we go to when we want some help with something? We went on a tour. Jeff and I took you on a tour with the roads. I knew what roads were being fixed on that Paving for Progress plan, which roads were being worked on and which ones weren't. I took you on roads that were going to be fixed, and they were in great condition. And then I took you on roads that were rubble and weren't even on the plan. And still, in 2023, they're not getting fixed. And Scott, I kind of wanted to talk with you to see if you'd meet with me. Jacqueline Drive is horrible. It feels like a war zone driving through there. And D Avenue, we drove on, Jeff, it's still not fixed. And they were told it would be fixed years ago. This is our local option sales tax. It was supposed to be used to fix roads. It's being used for trails. It's being used for fancy street lights. It's being used for everything that I said it was going to be used for because I read the ballot language. And my time is up. Thank you for listening. I know it's not always easy for you guys.
Thank you. Thank you. Ajay Dittmar.
Hello. I was browsing through your Facebook page and I noticed a couple things that kind of stuck out for me. Home ownership is a game changer. Home ownership, this is Ashley, even though she's not here. Home ownership helps improve generational wealth. This is your page. We know transformational change can happen with home ownership. Trajectories change futures and are changed forever. Home ownership. You guys are putting out these programs for the lower income people. I don't know if you've ever looked at one of these. This is a GHS application for food stamps and medical, which the majority of these people that you're projecting these posts that will have to apply for. I just lost my place here. In this application, information about estate recovery. You can't pass down a house when the city or the state wants their money back. The state takes your house from you, and it doesn't matter what your family does. If you die or you get put in a nursing home, you better get out, because that's what the State Recovery Act is about. Federal law requires Iowa to have an estate recovery program. If you get Medicaid, you may be subject to estate recovery. This means any Medicaid funds will be used any funds used for your health care, including the full monthly fee paid to an MCO, a managed care health organization, including medical and dental, even if the plan did not pay for any services. All of this will still need to be repaid. So why are you trying to talk poor people into buying a home when they're just going to turn around and take it? Home ownership is a game changer. And I just want to say that, we're going back to the river again, I used the river. The river did not destroy my neighborhood. They did. You guys didn't. You weren't on the council then. But you have a chance now to redeem yourselves, to redeem them. I don't need my city telling me what I should or shouldn't be doing. I don't need a nanny city telling me that where I live is not safe. That's what flood insurance is for. I'm just really upset that you voted as one to take our homes from us by force for a river beautification program. It's not flood protection. It's not flood control. If you really wanted to let the river breathe, you would. But it's bottlenecked right here. Right here. I was going to read something that a neighbor wrote. If I have time. Really sad that we built Nubo, which was the lowest spot in CR. Sad we need more retention basin in case of a flood, which was earmarked as time check, affordable fixed income housing. Affordable fixed income housing. Home ownership is a game changer. Downtown is a bottleneck of the Cedar Rapids. One only knows when a bottleneck can allow as much more water to flow through where they built the walls. I mean, I've never seen a map. I'd like to see how the river flows. Where is this river gonna flow? In the one lot over there where the skate park used to be? What about Hubbard? Is it gonna flow right through Hubbard? Is Hubbard gonna be removed too? I'd like to know.
Thank you, AJ.
My time isn't up.
Oh, apologies. You have 14 seconds. Yeah, you do. No, your time is up. Anne. Can you spell your last name for me?
Yeah, T as in David, Uffield, Duffield.
Got it. Thank you.
Okay. Just got a few quick things. Like I said, I'm just never in town to get to talk to you guys. One of the things, I bought a home on E Avenue in 1991. Ever since I've been there, I've heard nothing about how we're going to pave E Avenue, and it's never gotten done, never gotten done. My kids went to Cleveland Elementary, to Jefferson High School, and Roosevelt Middle School. They walked those streets the whole time. Snow, ice, rain, whatever, and those kids are still walking. Those are dangerous roads for these kids. I don't know why we don't insist that the schools within 2 miles, that the homes within 2 miles of school absolutely have sidewalks for these children. I mean, I think we're putting our children in harm's way. And then also, my sister lives in Nashville, so I heard all about the shooting the other day. I think the only way to protect our kids is to have become resource officers at the schools, and they should be armed. They should be armed. I mean, these are our most valuable assets, and none of us deserve to worry about our children when we send them off to school every day. That's, we've had veterans who have volunteered to do it for free. And I think we're just so crazy not to take them up on that offer. The young lady that you guys took recess for, obviously mental health is extremely important to her. Child safety is so important to us. I would love to see us have task forces put together where there's a blend of city folk as well as citizens, and let's get something done about this. My mother was a cook at Four Oaks for like 5 or 6 years, and so many troubled kids would come to her and tell her things that were just unimaginable that was going on within Four Oaks walls. So there's a lot of horrendous things happening to our children right in front of our noses, and just looking the other way is not going to make it go away. And then we get the result right there of what we saw. Somebody who's been traumatized as a child, and they just can't move forward with their life because there's nobody there to give them the resources to do that. Another thing, I think we all need to be aware that Congress is looking at a bill called HB 2289, where they're talking about banning voting machines. And I tell you, the last couple of elections, when I've gone to vote, the machines just kept rejecting my ballot. I am all for a paper ballot on the day of the voting. It's one vote, one day, let's just get it done. We all know by midnight who the hell won. I mean, this is just getting out of control. And I know every election we have, there's always a question, is that really the winner? Did they really win? There's so many people who feel like it. What's the point of voting when there's such a shadow hanging over it about whether or not it was valid or not, right? Whether our votes counted. So I really think we need to address that. As an employer in the Cedar Rapids area, I am so concerned about labor finding qualified applicants to come and apply for jobs that we have. I have headhunters call all the time, and I'm like, listen, my industry is so unique. I have to train someone to do it. So I don't need a millwright or anybody. It's somebody who really wants to learn a trade that will last them the rest of their life. But the problem is that so many kids are convinced that they need to go to college. I guess we taught our kids that it's taboo to make a living with your hands, and I think we need to start reversing that. I mean, some of the kids that came and worked for me, they make more than college graduates do. I mean, we have got to switch this trend back around, start promoting trade schools, the trades themselves, different things like that. But I mean, I really think that we need to encourage different sorts of employment fairs for the kids in high school. I know Iowa Works really tries to do it, but they just really fall flat. I mean, they're just really, I think they need help maybe, and maybe that's something we could do as a community. Just do a better job of getting into the schools and having these different trade fairs at the schools like we used to do when my kids were in middle school. I remember going to Roosevelt and talking to the kids, and they were just amazed at the jobs that were out there for them. So that's just my 2 cents. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Melissa Duffield.
Oops, sorry. Pardon, I've had a brain injury, so don't start my time. I gotta read. I'm not as good as I once was in public speaking. It's amazing I came today. No, thank you. Pretty much this, sir. It's amazing I came today on Women's Civil Rights and Child Protection Declaration Day. Your actions after today will speak volumes if that's actually true for this city. I'm a woman with over 30 years experience in athletics. I paid my dues. I went around the world. I have coached college. I grew up here. I was a part of a club here that was horrible to me. And I luckily grew up with a mama like her that protected me against bad people. And I wanted to come back to my hometown and make a difference. In my hometown in 2017, I had a dream. Believe in CR, right, Mayor? Because I had a dream. My dream was to come back, build a giant sports facility, and do good. Had meetings with people on this board, sat in your office, Pomerantz. You were too busy walking in and out. And had meetings with you and had a meeting with Ann Poe. And she said I was pretty amazing. And she said she was pretty excited for what I was trying to do to protect kids in this community and to bring elite sports to this area. I avidly remember her saying, go get them. I love what you're doing. I started a youth program based on that theory and building this giant complex. And without any marketing, I grew ridiculously. I became the largest one in my first year because I was building a giant sports facility at the same time. Dale, your nieces have benefited from my program, and they're amazing young ladies. Well, they said that they did, so somehow they're related to you. I have Scott Olson's granddaughter in my program. And it's a pretty big deal. I mean, I'm trying to create the future women for the next generation and at the same time, the future leaders. But what has been interesting is through this process, I have had my life threatened, and I have contacted CRPD. I have contacted the Sheriff's Department who have no response. I've contacted organizations in this town to receive help. I've contacted real estate firms to try and help us find a facility, and yet over and over again, brick walls, or told there's a conflict of interest. How can there be a conflict of interest with the volleyball coach? Really quite interesting. So, you know, it makes you start to question, what are the conflicts? My civil court case against my old business partner is now going to take 9 years before I get my day in court. That's kind of fishy. I have mysterious phone calls that are constantly made. I am stepped on over and over and over for jobs in this community. Mysterious phone calls are made to them as well. I'm a qualified person, but yet doesn't seem so. The Gazette twice passed up on me making history in this state, hosting a professional youth event and a professional adult event, but seemed to kind of not do the story on that. And the answer lies in, really simply, why am I running into all these brick walls? Well, I've been a child advocate against pedophilia for decades. And there's people in this town that don't like me. And shame on them, because at the end of the day, I mean, I think we should all be able to agree that we should put kids first and we should make their health and well-being the top priority. And if you're a nasty person, you shouldn't be around kids. A deputy sheriff has gone down, a KCRG anchor has gone down, a sports photographer, an attorney's husband, a cybersecurity guy at Nubo, a trucking company. They've all gone down in Cedar Rapids for either producing child porn or raping little kids. And meanwhile, my reputation is attacked. And I am treated as if I'm the most horrible person on the planet. Mayor, recently, you know, you have pictures with somebody that just went down for raping potentially 2 little girls, right? And normally I'd give you the benefit of the doubt. But the problem is, we have a woman running our ICE Arena youth program that was on the sex offender list in 2012 and was supposed to be on it for 10 years, pardon me. And she does naked gardening videos with minor children. And she's still running youth programs at Cedar Rapids. You guys shouldn't have been discussing arena chairs. You should have been discussing firing this woman. Instead of the Cedar Rapids Police Department running stories on her being Mother of the Year. It's pretty nasty. But yet she's on there, and she markets her daughter on the corridor hockey site. And she was kicked out of Safe Sport in 2021. That's pretty serious. She's not even supposed to be allowed in that building, but yet we're gonna have discussions about the chairs. The other thing is, I would like to ask this board if you enjoy these photos. Because I have you on recording that this is your friend that runs this facility. Welcome to paradise, it says, in between the little girl's legs.
And your time is up. I did
Warm
give you some
beds
extra time so you could go
and
over.
warm friends.
Thank you. Kathy Potts.
Illegal around the world. Shame on you guys.
Kathy Potts, 1118 First Street Southwest. Thank you, Mayor and Council. I wasn't going to say anything about it, but with child rape, you look at me and you see a woman that's fat. And a lot of people think when you're fat, you're stupid. And they like to look at you like that. Well, I was raped as a 3-month-old child. It changes you. It changes you a lot. And then I continued to be molested and hearing bad stuff till I was about 16 years old. Do I hate injustice with a passion? You better believe it. You don't get raised up and having to protect yourself from people going, oh, you've got such a pretty face. If you would just lose that weight. Well, I'm not going to lose the weight because the weight protected me. The weight is a protection. So anyway, it does happen, and it makes us very, very serious advocates for people. You just see me up here being angry. I'm not angry at you individually. I'm looking at your position of power and how I believe you're abusing people. And it breaks my heart with the way you're abusing people. And you don't think it's abuse when somebody loses their home to government? It is. And not a single one of you have had the guts to stand face to face with those people and say, even though I don't believe it, that you would say, I'm sorry. But to protect our city, this is what we need to do. Why can't you do that? Why can't you do it? You just put it on the consent agenda right there with all the alcohol liquor licenses. It's not important. You're right there with the liquor license. We're going to vote aye on all that. And you're just as important as that. I mean, how I don't understand how you do it. I mean, I don't think if people knew how you're treating people with your votes and stuff, that you would get elected. I think people have hearts, and they would see that you're not going to use yours. Like I said, as a child that was abused, it changes you. It makes you want to protect people. And what I see that you're doing to my friend Ajay and Greg, it's heartbreaking. I mean, these are friends. Ajay and I haven't seen each other for about 9 years, except for a couple of times while we were raising our grandchildren. And do you know why we raised our grandchildren before they went to school? Because we wanted to protect them. Children that are in daycare and in homes that watch children, the percentage of them that are raped and molested is extremely high. So what do? We protect them. And what happened when my youngest 4-year-old went to preschool was this came up. And like I said, I mean, I'm trying not to cry about this, but how do you expect? I mean, I don't understand. I do. I mean, I'm sorry. I know I've said this many, many times, but aren't you upstanding citizens? And you can't even go to those people and say, "I'm sorry, that we're protecting the thing, we're protecting the city." But one thing I want to ask you: my husband's an engineer, and he's done work with the Corps, the Corps of Engineers over the waterways with the Mississippi River, and we saw a lot of models. Is there a model that we can look at that shows how the river flows in Cedar Rapids? And how if you put one wall here, it changes the river? And that if you put a wall or you don't put a wall where AJ's house is, that it changes? Where can I find that? Is there a website that I can see one that was designed by an engineer that said this is how the river changes, and you push it, you click here and the river goes that way, and you put a wall here and it goes there? I don't know. Maybe you think we're stupid. Maybe you think none of us understand how engineers work and what they do. But all I can say is you look at us and you see that we're angry. Well, yeah, we don't like injustice, and I feel like what you guys are doing, and one lady, there's the mayor. I don't know. I'm really embarrassed, and I feel passionate about what I do for these people. We don't go in the same social clubs, but anyway, I don't know. Thank you.
Kira Little Sky.
Hi, I'm Kira Little Sky. I live on the corner of 3rd and 16th Street. Born and raised in Wellington Heights. I also have a Native American background, so I know what it's like to get your home taken away and get pushed around. I don't believe in home ownership for that thing, because I expect to get pushed around. It breaks my heart to come in here and see the other citizens that had belief in the system, belief that they could own their houses. I want to tell you right now, I think I've been here enough that we're friends, okay? So I'm going to tell you straight up, I'm outraged. I'm outraged not only because of this project, but the projects that connect to it. You took the public space over there that was a pollination zone and built it up. Where that water could have went? All that water was supposed to go. That was an agreement with FEMA, all that pollination land. That was also beautiful land. Riverfront property. You guys are wanting to recoup your money on these citizens, these hardworking citizens that built this city instead of Cargill. Cargill got all that beautiful land for $2. Who are you working for? The businesses or the citizens? Because right now I see you working for the businesses. The city of Cedar Rapids has been over for the businesses, been over for the monopoly of Alliant, been over for Cargill. But the citizens are having mental outcries. We all witnessed it here today. She has a valid reason to be upset. I go to the Civil Rights Commission and all I hear is the same thing. Conflict of interest. There is no checks and balances. No checks and balances for our police. No checks and balances because the Civil Rights Commission is who we go to for that, and they can't do anything when we have a complaint against the police, okay? That is outrageous. That is outrageous. I was almost raped this weekend. I had to push an abusive man out of my apartment. And you know what he said when I shoved him out the door? Into the stairwell? He looked at me and said, "I'm gonna call the police on you." I told him, go right ahead. This is a repeat, this goes on a lot here. And your gentrification is causing more crime. We are a small city. We're not a big city where you can gentrify. In a small city like this, you're taking homes from the hardworking people here, giving them pence amount of money for their place, and they're having to move out of the city to get somewhere nice to live. You replace them with the people from Chicago, with your posters, recruiting them to come here, offering them housing, offering them food stamp benefits. I've seen them, I witness it, I live in Wellington Heights, hear about it. You bring all them people from Chicago in, and then you wonder why you got crime, why you got shooting. You got cameras up to get people on their license plates. Why don't you put shot spotters up? You want to protect the city? Why don't you go to the gun violence calls quicker? We have fireworks here. Oh, they get confused. Well, you know what? Shot spotter can tell the difference between gunshots and fireworks. It would save a lot of time. That would really be protecting the city. But you're not about protecting us. You lie about protecting us, and you want to make money. The officer that stalked me for over 30 years terrified me. He was seen as a person to model yourself after because he brought in tons of revenue on all the tickets that he lied about. And then I'm supposed to not believe all these people that come to me and tell me how they were falsely arrested, falsely treated. Mental health, I almost cried when I saw police and social work. And Cedar Rapids came up, a CRT team. When I was arrested and put in jail, I was refused my mental health medications. Do you know what that's like? What if you refused somebody their insulin? This is not a joke. Look at that girl that was in here today. She's upset because of the way you're treating the citizens of the city. She has a valid reason to be upset. 1,000, we each represent 5,000 people with the same feeling because they can't come in here and stand here and articulate themselves in front of you without fearing that happening to them. Thank you.